Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Ammar, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to be joined by Doug Crowe, renowned personal branding strategist, publisher, keynote speaker, and owner of Doug Crowe Companies, known for catapulting entrepreneurs to bestseller status and simplifying their voices through powerful storytelling. Doug, welcome to Founders Future.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
Yeah.
I always like to start from the beginning.
Sure.
So take me back to before you got into the world of entrepreneurship.
Oh.
What were you doing beforehand? And then what was really the motivation behind starting your own company?
Okay. Before entrepreneurship, I was in fifth grade.
Oh, wow. Okay. Fair enough.
I think I've held 3 jobs my entire life. At the age of 64, I've never worked more than a year and a half at anybody, but I've always been an entrepreneur, always had that vision to do something on my own, more or less unemployable. And my dad was a dentist and he had his own business, so that was part of the impetus. My mom was a cheerleader on stuff. So actually for a while there as a young man in my 20s, she said, I collected all your business cards, by the way. She had a stack of them from the dozen or so things that I had done in my life. So
Hilarious.
it was funny. Yeah.
That's awesome. So I guess today, walk us through your main company today, what your priority is, just to give the listeners more context.
Sure. My main company is called Author Your Brands, authoryourbrand.com. And this company was founded by accident, like a lot of people who do things. And I'll give you a quick origin story, but I had spent 20 years as a real estate investor, developer, and a radio show host on ABC Radio in Chicago, where I talked about real estate investing. I had a great time with that. I launched the nation's only semester-based real estate investment academy, where it wasn't a weekend boot camp. It was a 10-week curriculum. You come to an actual classroom, learn to invest, and nobody graduated until they bought a property. So that was a lot of fun. I did some major deals there with an island project, condo conversions, did very well until I didn't. In 2008, the crash affected me pretty deeply.
Yeah.
To the point I had not just one foreclosure, but 19.
Wow.
Bankruptcy, divorce, clinical depression. It was a very common story in 2008. And it was not fun. But during the little boohoo phase, I wrote a book. And the book was awful, Ammar. It was just crap. It was no good at all. I'm like, wow, I just spent a whole lot of time writing this thing, and it's no darn good. But I had some connections because I had a radio show. I called up Robert Kiyosaki, Laurel Langmeyer, and I'm like, how'd you guys get this book thing done? And I think it was Laurel that said, I'm not a bestseller, or I forgot which one, I'm sorry. I'm not a best-selling author. I'm sorry, a best-selling author, not a best-selling writer. There's a huge difference.
Interesting.
And I learned that some people, especially CEOs and founders, they don't have the skill set to write, produce, market, position, do all that with a book. They've got a full-time business to run. Same thing with Laurel and Robert. They don't have time to do all this stuff. They have ghostwriters and really good developmental editors and launch teams and marketing processes.
Wow.
So I designed a very unique journalism, ghostwriting, production team that could take any CEO or founder who has a story to tell. We make the story better. And we help that story bring in leads. We help that story position them for acquisition or for legacy. Whatever is interesting to them, or wherever they are in their stage of their career or their business, a book can very often help them jumpstart whatever that initiative is. So they don't have to do any writing. They talk to a journalist for an hour a week. And within a year or 6 months, they've got a best-selling book, TEDx talk, press releases, podcast interviews. They're really positioned to be a thought leader in their narrow niche. So what I don't like the term thought leader that much because it feels like a Jedi Knight, but I call them slightly famous. And so how can I make you slightly famous? And when you're sitting at a conference, instead of being in the audience, you could be a speaker at the conference because you got a book out there.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's so many coaches, consultants that listen to this. I've talked to so many that they always have the saying, I'm writing a book. I'm in the process of writing a book. I don't know, hopefully in the next year, hopefully in the next 2 months or 2 years.
Don't do it. Don't do it. To do a well-done book, I don't write my own book. And I've been doing it for 15 years. I have this idea for this one. I'm working on it. I'm like, I need someone to interview me. Because here's what happens when you write your own book, and some people do it and do a great job, right? If you're Malcolm Gladwell, of course, you could do a great job with that. But if you're busy running a company, you're going to write, excuse me, if you've done this, folks, you're going to write your diary. Here's what I did. Here's what I thought. Here's what was, It's very myopic and one-sided, and it's from your lens,
Yeah.
and it sounds like a diary. But a
Yeah.
good journalist asks the questions that the reader wants to know. Like, where were you when you did that? Who was in the room with you? Why did
Mhm.
you do that? What's your background? What's your parents do? How did you get this idea in your head? A good journalist gets deep into their value proposition and their story. And a
Yeah.
good ghostwriter can weave it like Game of Thrones. They can do a
Mhm.
hook, a tension release, character development. They can do a whole lot of things with that manuscript that professionals don't do unless you're a professional developmental editor.
Wow. That is so cool. I actually remember reading Rich Dad Poor Dad in grade
Uh-huh.
eight.
Yeah.
My teacher gave it to me, changed
Mhm.
my life. And I was so hooked. I read it so
Yeah.
fast. I
Yeah.
thought it was
Easy
Robert
read.
that wrote that back.
You know where it came from? The idea for it?
Tell me.
So I had both Sharon Lechter and Robert on my radio show years ago,
Mm.
and that book was came from the instruction manual on the cash flow game. He designed the game first.
Okay. I
Uh-huh.
played the game too.
He played
I
the
didn't
game.
know
The
what happened.
original manual, Sharon looked at it and goes, "This could be a book, Robert." She was the genius behind the launch of the brand,
That's
quite
awesome.
frankly. Yeah.
That's
Mm,
awesome. Because
mm,
that's humongous.
yeah.
Now, walk me through, let's say I'm a CEO, I'm a founder, I want to have my own book, right?
Yeah.
What does it actually look like to work with Author Your Brand?
Oh, it's so much fun. Mainly because I'm not a production factory. I'm a concierge level company. I
Mm.
get to know my clients very well. Most of them are my friends after several years. Working with us, it's really we do. I'm a right brain, visionary, creative guy, but I've got my technical ops people that work with me. And the first phase of that is understanding, why do you want to publish a book? I don't say write because you're not going to write it. Why do you want to publish a book? And then the hard questions I ask usually depress them for about 2 minutes. And the hard question is, what can you say that hasn't already been said? Oh boy, that's a tough one because nobody can answer that one because it's impossible. Everything's been written. But I always come back after a few minutes after the depressive state and I say, guess what? I have an answer for you. It's your perspective. It's your journey, your story, because even though we all have seen time and time again the rags to riches stuff, I might not relate to person A, but I might relate to you because of a similar background or the way you write or whatever it is. So we do a deep dive analysis into your category. We'll go and analyze several hundred Amazon 3-star reviews in your category because we ignore 1-star reviews. People are angry. And 5-star reviews is usually somebody's mom. But a 3-star review gives great data for us. People comment what they liked about the book, and they always say what they didn't like and or what they were expecting or hopeful for. When we compile several hundred of what they're looking for, oh my gosh, Ammar, it's data gold. I can take that analysis, take it to the office and go, you know what your readers are really hoping for that no one's doing is this. Make it a chapter in your book, make it the whole title, whatever. So we do an analysis on what the market wants. I'm very passionate about covers. So we always produce half a dozen covers, split test it, analyze it, surveys out there out the wazoo, several hundred people voting on the cover to see what resonates with their audience. And then we complete that with a focus group with their actual ICP. Say, okay, why do you like this cover? Tell me why not, blah, blah, blah. So we get really detailed on that because if the cover's no good, you're not going to get to the inside, which is where the gold is. Grandma told us not to judge a book by its cover, but we all do. So we got to embrace that. So that's
Yeah.
the analysis part. The writing part, as I described, journalist interviews you for an hour a week or whatever pace you want to set. We do a sample. The sample has unlimited revisions until you love it, and 99%. And at that point, we go through the book, a couple edits. During that time period, there's not a whole lot to do because you've done your interviews. So I work with the founder on strategizing what are we going to do with this content. We're going to
Mm.
break it up into snippets for marketing. We're going to position it for an IPO. We're going to position it for being acquired, developing for legacy. Do we want to do a documentary, a book tour? Do you want like doing podcasts? Do you like speaking? There's so many ways to repurpose and leverage the content. We've got to have a plan for that. So we
Yeah.
map that out. And the biggest thing I'll reveal to you, if you want a real good zinger, is I have a gentleman who, oh my gosh, he Vistage Chair, world known. He's one of the top guys there. He won an award for resilience because he has inoperable brain and lung cancer. given like 6 months to live. Doug, I got to write a book fast, right?
Wow.
He's still with us 5 years later, number one. So he's still with us. But during the interviews, he's talking about Vistage. He's a Vistage chair. He's talking about the American Cancer Society. And we leave those things in his book. I didn't tell him why, but I was like, leave that in there. It's going to be good. Guess where his first two keynotes were? Hey, Vistage. Hey, American Cancer Society. You're mentioning this book. Can I send you a copy? Oh, they read it. Oh my gosh, this is great. Yeah, he's also a speaker. He is? Can we get him? Let me call him for you.
Wow.
So by embedding your ideal readers
Yeah.
from an enterprise level into your content, we do that in a collaborative manner too. Sometimes I'll have a client I'm working with right now who's got a really cool company, and it's called eLonely, about entrepreneurship being lonely. And I said, let's interview some other people in that space. But I'm not going to just interview anybody. I'm going to look for strategic partners with huge organizations, associations, Fortune 1000. We're going to interview them, put them in his book, and treat them as collaborators. Hey, you're collaborating with me. You're contributing to this book. But once the book comes out, hey, Bob, you're in chapter 3 and 7. I am? Yeah. And he gets a copy. This is great. Yeah, who's your PR firm? Maybe you want to help promote this. Oh, yeah, I'm going to promote this. We have
That's
a
awesome.
built-in launch team. And as they read, they're like, this guy's amazing. We only spent 10 minutes on a phone, but I really like this book. What does he do again?
Yeah.
Dude,
I love that. So
frictionless sales.
yeah, 100%, 100%. You're creating the halo effect. You're getting them more excited about the individual. So it's
Yeah,
cool that you help them from end to end and beyond. Like the book is actually complete and the launch, like you were mentioning.
yeah, right.
I'd love to shift a little bit to the back end of the business. When it comes to client acquisition, customer acquisition, when
Yeah.
you're looking to bring in more leads into author your brand, that look like?
I've tried a lot, like a lot of entrepreneurs, thrown a lot of mud on the wall, man. We've tried everything except ads. I'm not good on the ad side, but LinkedIn outreach, LinkedIn content a little bit. Our main driver has always been LinkedIn and referrals. When I got started, I didn't have a website. We did several $1 million just off a really good, powerful LinkedIn profile and some DMs.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was like, wow, this is really good. But years later, as LinkedIn turned into a little bit of Facebooky with all the crap on there, it doesn't work as well on that angle. But everybody has a story to tell. And all I've got to do is trigger that emotion and say, yeah, you know what? Your story is important and it can make a difference. And so, yeah, the marketing side, it's pretty much LinkedIn outbound, a little bit of LinkedIn inbound and referrals from previous clients. As a concierge company, we're not doing big numbers. I'm not doing, 8 figures or anything, but we do enough to support half a dozen families and it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned you've tried everything but ads.
Yeah,
I'm curious as to why that is. Do you have any plans to do it? Because I've seen companies like yours crush it with ads.
really. Maybe it's just me, Ammar. I'd love to talk about that off after the show. I've only put my toe in the water very slightly on that. Before AI, you had to go blow a bunch of money on see what works first. And for me to put 5 or 10 grand in ad spend to see if the copy creative even turns into ROAS, I
Yeah,
was like, I just prefer to go have lunch with the guy at golf course and pick up a
fair
$50,000
enough.
client that way. It's
Fair enough. No,
yeah,
I think that's a good point. I think it depends on the funnel that you're looking to test. A webinar funnel, for example, you probably want 20 to 30K in ad spend. A
yeah,
VSL, you probably want 5 to 10K. But
yeah,
if you do something that's a little bit simpler, you could do $50 a day, test it for 4 days. If you're not getting booked calls, scrap it. There's ways to make it effective. And the
yeah,
nice thing is, especially when you have I'm assuming this is on the higher ticket side.
yes, yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
when you have that, you get one sale, boom, you can start testing out the more complex funnels that if
right.
you can get those to work, oof, like 4 to 5x return on ad spend, it's predictable, it's
We
sexy.
talked to a PE guy about this just last week, actually. He said, because I've never done the low ticket stuff. I know how to do a funnel. I had all that stuff set up a while ago, but didn't really go too strong on it because it didn't really have a smaller price product. We
Yeah.
start off at 25 to 50 grand as our general price point where we start, and it goes up to 125. But if we had a lower tier thing in there, then the ad thing would make sense, especially if I get an SLO for lead gen. If I just do something that converted and paid for the ad spend just for developing the community, that'd be attractive. That would be probably a
Yeah.
good idea.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
even on the 25K side, it can still work very well.
Yeah. Great. All right. Let's talk about that at the show then. I'd be happy to chat with you about that.
100%.
Thanks, man.
I'm curious your vision. So if
Hmm.
you were to think over the next, you pick a time frame, 1, 2,
Okay.
3 years, what are the goals for the company? Where do you really want to take this thing?
I'm going to let the cat out of the bag then. I'm working on something right now. I can only say so much, but there's a massive untapped marketing channel that no one is using right now for
Mm,
authors mainly. And I'm running some tests on it this month. I'll have MVP probably in September, October for it. But it's a way for authors to stop doing vanity metrics and stop with the social vomiting and email spam and having 10,000, 100,000, a million targeted people look at their book and go, I'm going to download that. And distribution is the key to everything if you really think about it, right? It used to be content is king. Forget it. Content is ubiquitous. Maybe it's technology. Nah, AI can write my code for me today.
yeah,
So distribution is still the key. That relationship that somebody has is the most valuable. That's why I'm a referral guy. I will give referrals 10 times more than I get because that's my MO.
I like
On the
that.
distribution side, our untapped marketing channels are, it's hundreds of millions of eyeballs waiting for this person's message. And when
Mhm.
it hits, I'm like, oh, I'd like that. Download. It'll be a frictionless. It'll be no monetary transaction, but worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I'll share it with you when the MVP comes out because you're asking
Yeah, I
me.
was just gonna say, so you're just gonna tease us? Is that it? What's
I
going
gotta have to
on?
because it's
I
normally I don't think there's any secrets in the world, but this one I gotta launch it and get it rolling first because the TAM on it is I can't count the zeros and the the space for it is there's no one doing this. I'm like, why not? It's crazy. It's just insane.
Yeah,
So let me go through it and just please just stay in touch. Since I tease you guys here, I owe it to you to tell you when the MVP is out and you guys can take it for a test drive.
awesome. Talk about a cliffhanger. On that note, what
Yeah.
is the best way for people to reach out to you to work with you?
Oh, the best way is I'm very approachable. They can go right to email me at doug@dougcrowe.com and just put Ammar show in the subject line because I know it's for you guys. They go to authorbrand.com and check out some of our case studies there and some more about our company. But just to get to know me, go on LinkedIn and hit me up there or email me. I'm very approachable. And like I said, concierge business. If you're a business owner doing 7 figures or more, then I'd love to chat with you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Anytime. So that wraps up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to email Doug@dougcrowe.com. That's CROWE, Doug@dougcrowe.com. Authoryourbrand.com is the website. Go there, check it out. If you're a 7-figure business owner and you want to really amplify your personal brand and get a book done with very minimal work on your end, authoryourbrand.com. And if you are a coach, consultant, or an agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to jump on a call with our team and discover how we went from zero to $30 million in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on climbing.